how is it being a Christian where you live? This person goes on to say, here in Brazil, we see false prophets giving motivational talks as coaches, cases of abuse in certain churches, people interpreting the Bible in the way that suits them, stating that God is on one side and that the other is condemned to hell. In addition to tithes being diverted to benefit pastors, there's also satire and jokes about the Bible, God and Jesus, and many who seem not to have understood Christ's teachings attack minor religions. Few Christians really act like Christians here in Brazil. What about where you live? Does this also happen there, whether on social media or in the news in your state or country? Interesting. What would you tell them? How is it like being a Christian where you live? Where I live, it's amazing. I just found a new church. It's fantastic. 10 out of 10. I'm not joking. Live music, super friendly, amazing people, great messages. They heavily rely on the message coming from the Bible, but they weave it in a modern way. There's like a whole series. I go on and on about it. It's great. It's a really fun existence. I enjoy going there. It feels like a mini concert and a motivational talk and a spiritual glass of water. It's so good. I feel refreshed when I leave. Genuinely. It's amazing where I live. I think this person has a little bit of like an idea of what you have to be like as a Christian. Like some of the things I agree with some of the things they say. Like it's sad when you see the money going to the church diverted, and like the pastor has like a Rolex and flying in a private jet. That's not right. I agree with them. That's not right. But then they said there's also satire and jokes about the Bible, God, and Jesus. I mean, I kind of want to hear these jokes because I personally am in the belief that God has a great sense of humor. Genuinely, I think God has the best sense of humor, and as long as the joke isn't like too offensive, I feel like God would love a joke about the Bible or himself or Jesus even. There's so many good jokes I've heard about Jesus that aren't offensive. They're kind of dad jokes, to be fair. I am an expecting father, so maybe I'm just falling in the category of dad jokes. But there's some good Jesus jokes out there. I don't think it's blasphemy. I think God wants you to laugh. I think God wants you to connect with Jesus. And if a good joke is the way to do it, but hey, I could be wrong. Comment down below. Do you think it's inappropriate to make jokes about the Bible, God, and Jesus? I think it's all about the taste, right? If you're being really, like offensive, sure, yeah, it's probably a bad subject to make jokes about. Sure, but if you're like, if it's a decent joke and and if you could tie it in with like a biblical teaching, I think God would love that. I think God would be like, another one. Tell me another one. He probably knows them all. But I'm just saying, like, he would appreciate you using your love of the Bible and Jesus and him to do something that spreads laughter and joy. Why would he be against that? Anyway, I'm a big comedy fan and enthusiast, so I love when people are making biblical jokes. It's one of my favorite genres. I want more of that. Can we get a Bible comedy special on Netflix, please? I'm serious. Someone can walk that fine line of being, funny but not offensive. It'd be I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying I would love that. So I don't and like just some of the things I just felt like they were saying that Christians have to be like a cookie cutter. Like there's a specific way to be a Christian. And even though I do agree, like there is some things, like I think big ones for me are like, do you accept God and Jesus in your heart? Do you live the way that Jesus would want you to live by following his teachings and stuff like that? Those are like the two main ones, honestly. I mean, everything else is great. You get bonus points, for like reading the Bible and like, going to church and like doing different stuff. But if you don't do those two main ones, if you don't allow God, if you don't build a connection to God and Jesus and let him in your heart, and if you're not acting in the way Jesus would want you to, like going around, giving, being very giving, turning the other cheek, like all of his teachings and stuff like that. If you're not living it, then what's the point of reading the Bible? I know people that read the Bible but then don't actually act that way, right? And it'd be better for you to read the Bible less if you were acting more like it. Like, I don't think it's necessarily like you don't have to read the Bible less. I'm just saying, like, it's more important to act in the way Jesus would want you to act, like him in a way, you know? Be more like Jesus is, I think, one of Jesus's mottos, right? Follow the 10 Commandments, you know? All that good stuff is so, like, so if you could just let God in your heart and act in a way that you'd make Jesus proud, I think that's like the main thing, right? I could be wrong on this. Please comment down below. I'm not trying to be. Let's see what some of these people say. This person says, same in the U.S. The term Christian has been usurped by some of the worst people imaginable, making existence harder for all of us. Guard your heart, pray without ceasing, and take care. Totally. And it's so tough because the Bible and religion, Christianity and stuff, is such a powerful tool. Imagine the most powerful tool in the world, and you expect evil to not try to use it. It's the most powerful tool in the world. Way more strong than a sword, way more strong than any kind of weapon you can, like, modern day weapon, is the power of religion and the Bible. So of course evil is going to try to use it. That doesn't mean that it's all evil. Like, I have some family members that aren't going to, like, church, and they kind of have, like, this, like, they hear people bring up Jesus and they're like, ooh, you know, like, they're good people, spiritual people. A lot of them are teachers and kind of, like, do other kind of, like, they're very salt of the earth people. But at the same time, they get kind of hung up on being like, I love Jesus. You know, if I'm like, oh, I love Jesus, they'll be like, you know, like, and I'm just like, what? Like, it's honestly baffling. And they'll be like, well, I saw in the news that there was this pastor who was doing something terrible. And it's like, yeah, but that's not every church, you know, like, because I just recently started going to this really cool church. So I was telling them about it, and they're like, ooh, you know, churches are corrupt. And I'm like, not every church is corrupt. Like, that's such a, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's sad when people get this idea about religion just because a few bad apples, like, did something, and they're like, oh yeah, all organized religion is corrupt, and they, like, brainwash you. They think of it as like a cult or something. And it's like, it's not. It doesn't have to be, at least. I get, like, some people turn it into that, but there can also be amazing. It's like a beautiful connection. Every time I go to the church, it's like a live concert, a motivational talk. I learned about the Bible. You know, they explain it in a way that's, like, new and refreshing. Everyone's so friendly. It's really, like, such a great experience. It, like, checks off 3 boxes in one, you know? So I love it personally. Anyway, what would you tell? What's it like how's it being a Christian where you live? This person says, in the South US, I imagine incredibly easy if you're doing it for show. Hard if you want to follow literal doctrine. People down here are way into hating their neighbors. So true. I think the most important thing is living the way Jesus would want you to live. It can be very difficult. It's not necessarily an easy path, but I think it's one of the most important ones. As always, hope you're having a great day, a blessed day. How is it being a Christian where you live? Please take a moment, comment down below. Sounds like this person's encountering a lot of negative type of religious experiences in Brazil. That's very sad. Let's all pray for him. Hope you have a great day.